Tonight, we take you from the world of high fashion to the world of kung fu, from the next generation of filmmakers to art in the digital world.
And an exclusive one-on-one interview with USC film alum and award-winning filmmaker Felipe Vargas.
All of that and more on tonight's episode of Trojan Vision's one and only entertainment news show, The Scoop.
Did you see that new intro?
I did. What did you think of it?
It's a lot better than what I could do, I can tell you that much. They definitely spent more time on it than I spent on my homework. Not that my teachers should know that. Thanks for tuning in for an all-new season of The Scoop. I'm Jonathan Pelster.
And I'm Amby Butler. The Scoop is Trojan Vision's premiere and only entertainment news show. We want to focus on uplifting the voices of young artists everywhere and spotlight exactly what the next generation of artistic talent is going to look like.
Focusing on film, television, music videos, new media, and other visual art forms, The Scoop hopes to fill you in on what's new in entertainment. Who cares what Disney bought this week or what Apple plans to expand into next? The Scoop is about independent voices, fresh perspectives, and honest visual art.
Every week, we'll bring you a diverse selection of talent, art, and heart with the hopes that together, we can uplift the independent voices that work so hard to be seen, yet so often go unnoticed. By giving you news, profiles, on-the-ground reporting, and one-on-one interviews, The Scoop hopes to corner emerging talent.
Take USC Roski student John Little, for example. Over quarantine, he developed a unique project entitled Art Therapy, combining his passion for fashion and film. Drawing inspiration from Wes Anderson's Prada fashion film, John sought to build a story around his collection as a way of introducing his brand. His short film showcases 13 original articles of clothing, designed, produced, styled, and hand-sewn by John, as well as features music by Ellie Williams.
While John's interest in fashion began in high school, the film element and sewing were new for him. He partnered up with Cole Swanson, majoring in film and TV production at New York University, and John Mazer, a USC film production major, to complete this project. John's rough breakup from freshman year prompted the theme of guilt in his experimental film through the depiction of a struggling actor in Hollywood. The film grows more abstract, crescendoing into a scene of hallucinatory violence.
While each character showcases a new outfit, the hallucination sequence offers a new take on the catwalk. Accentuated against a white background, the women tormenting the man show off the mammoth suit, the overall vest, and the Diana pants as the boy fashions the classic Art Therapy sweater. The Art Therapy sweater depicts a couple kissing with the woman's eyes wide open, indicating a clear tension in the relationship.
It paints a tapestry of heartbreak and forewarning against the guilt experienced by the protagonist of the film. The Diana pants serves as a warning. The tabloid print displays the horrors of fame experienced by Princess Diana, conveying themes of loss, heartache, and vengeance. While John completed the film about a year ago, he's continued to expand upon his brand, even creating a lookbook for his outfits.
He's currently collaborating with a friend on a new collection of colorful psychedelic pieces that they'll debut in a new fashion show. In John's final year at USC, he hopes to create a second volume of Art Therapy that's simpler yet more refined than his first film. Follow Art Therapy World on Instagram to stay updated on his work. What did you think of Art Therapy?
I thought it was a really wonderful film, and it was very visually pleasing.
Yeah, I really like the Art Therapy sweater. I could see myself wearing that. I'm not sure about the pink pants that he wore. It would have to take some persuasion to get me into those, but a lot of really avant-garde art, and I just liked how he built this entire world to showcase his work.
That's awesome. Just like Little worked day in and day out to bring his vision to life, dozens of juniors at USC School of Cinematic Arts have been working hard to bring their junior thesis films to life. Just a few Sundays ago, we caught up with some of these students outside the world-famous Norris Cinema Theater, where they premiered 9 of their high-end short films. Take it away.
USC's own Norris Cinema Theater has been closed down and off limits to the public since the beginning of the pandemic. But now, excited students, families, and friends are gathered to witness the first in-person junior thesis film screening since returning from lockdown. And while it's an exciting time for the young filmmakers presenting, there were definitely challenges during the movie-making process.
We had a very limited crew, which honestly worked. We were able to get stuff done faster, but less in the way we wanted, but that really posed no hindrance. And then we also had a lot of trouble finalizing the script. The ending wasn't where Destiny wanted it, and we had to wait for that to really get things rolling.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest challenge was probably just all the producing stuff, locking locations and making sure everyone was tested for the set, given that we're in the state of the pandemic. Making sure all the T's were crossed and all the I's were dotted was truly making sure the hardest thing. And you get up one day and you have an agenda of things you need to get done, and by the end, it's a completely different one. So just dealing with the change day to day.
But despite complications filming and the quick turnaround date to get the film produced, it was all worth it for junior directors like Dylan Metha, who wanted to use this premiere as an opportunity to showcase his movie-making talents.
This is my first premiere that I'm actually going to be showing my own film at, and it's pretty nervous. It's pretty nerve-wracking, rather. Instead of sitting down and accepting the fact that other people are going to think a certain way about my film, or I'll be judged by it in a certain way, I instead looked at it as an opportunity to be judged, and instead took that inspiration to amp up the intensity by tenfold. And I'm honestly quite surprised that USC themselves are letting me play my film in the beautiful Norris Theater with the way I wrote it. So I am very excited to showcase it today.
And when all is said and done, these young filmmakers have gained enough experience to offer some advice of their own to anyone looking to get started in the film industry.
Don't be afraid to fail. That's how you learn. That's where I've learned a lot of things, and you learn through observation.
I would say work hard, put your best foot forward, and never give up, as cheesy as it sounds.
It's all about stepping outside of your boundary, doing something different, and being original. Even though I know it's hard to be original in this day and age, you've got to try.
Just so inspiring to see all this creativity in one space.
People these days are finding creative outlets everywhere. Just take TikToker Kimberly, for example.
As we all know, the pandemic forced us all to lock ourselves inside our homes, and for many creatives, this meant putting their projects on hold. For the photographer known as Kimberly on TikTok, this was far from true. Kimberly decided that her home was simply her new studio. Throughout the lockdown, Kimberly transformed her home into a wide array of fantastical worlds. As opposed to my pandemic room, which was littered with dirty clothes and dirty dishes, Kimberly decorated her room with everything from flowers to balloons to even giant bubbles.
Additionally, she utilized her backyard to construct elaborate photo shoots. She recently managed to create a mini island in her backyard. With 31.9K TikTok followers and 315,000 Instagram followers, Kimberly has gathered quite the following. Her creativity attracts people of all ages, but what is truly unique about her social media presence is her honesty.
Kimberly provides a plethora of behind-the-scenes videos and photos to show her followers that everything she does is doable in their own homes. She provides inspiration and insight to creatives everywhere by doing so.
Kimberly has completed all of her shoots by herself. She acts as set decorator, director, editor, and model on all of her shoots. Her control and dedication to her work in a time of such chaos reminds artists everywhere of their own ability to create beauty when the world is full of devastation. What's quite amazing is her artistic message. Kimberly has used her ability to create magical scenes to inspire young Black girls.
Kimberly has recreated famous movie aesthetics and genres in her photographs that are typically portrayed by white actresses. She has created shoots inspired by Harry Potter, Little Women, The Great Gatsby, and the overall cottagecore aesthetic, all of which are predominantly played by white actresses and actors. By doing this, she hopes to show young Black kids that they are seen and valid. She urges for more diversity in Hollywood and for there to be an end to whitewashing.
Kimberly is a rising photographer whose work proves that art is everywhere and whose creative vision strives to create a more open world. Well, that sounds awesome to me.
Yes, definitely.
A few weeks ago, Marvel released Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It represents the 25th installment of Marvel's cinematic universe. This movie, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, has been praised not only for its graphics, but also for its choreography and focus on martial arts.
While we're on the topic of stunts, let's talk about the group of people that are often overlooked: stunt doubles and choreographers. Stunt doubles are skilled replacements who are used for dangerous or complicated sequences, like jumping out of a building or fighting 6 guys in a carefully choreographed fight scene.
Although there are multiple safety precautions set in place, stunt doubles constantly injure themselves while pulling off the craziest stunts. The choreographer also does everything in their power to ensure that the stunt is doable and, of course, looks cool. Legendary stunt choreographer Andy Chang worked on Shang-Chi after cutting his teeth as a stuntman for Jackie Chan's acclaimed kung fu films out of China.
Stunt choreography is intense and can take weeks or even months to film even a simple scene of action. Stunt performers have to make sure action looks believable, but ensure no one gets hurt in the process. Often likened to a dance of sorts, stunt performers are highly trained professionals unionized as the Stuntman and Stuntwoman's Motion Picture Associations. It's a long and often thankless job.
If you're a big Marvel fan, or if you just want to see a movie with solid fighting scenes, Shang-Chi is the movie for you. And next time you watch an action movie, think about the time, preparation, and effort that goes into choreographing even the simplest stunt. You know, I can't even get out of bed on my own without injuring myself, so I'm glad I don't have to do my own stunts.
But it's so amazing watching action movies.
Exactly.
All right, everyone, we're about to go on break, but thank you for joining us here at The Scoop.
Coming up after the break, a trip to the USC Fisher Museum of Art, a breakdown of all the hottest entertainment events on campus, and an exclusive one-on-one interview with USC film alum and rising star filmmaker Felipe Vargas.
Don't go anywhere because you're watching The Scoop.
Black Beatles in the city, be back immediately to confiscate the monies. Ray Scrum, wow, my will. You sent flowers, but you said you didn't receive. But you said Mike you didn't need them. That girl is a real crowd, please. Small world, all her friends know of me. Young bull living like an old geese. Quick release the cash, watch it fall slowly. Frat girl still trying to get in. Haters mad for whatever reason. Smoke in the air, binge drinking. They lose it when the DJ drops the knee. Getting so gone, I'm not blinking. What in the world was I?
Welcome back to The Scoop. Let's move on to some news even closer to home.
It's Monday, so we've got this whole week ahead of us. That's more than enough time to see a movie, go to the museum, or support your fellow Trojans. Let's start by checking in what's new on USC's campus this week.
Here are a few campus events going on this week. On Tuesday, October 19th, check out a screening of Sundance-winning film Luzu at the Ray Stark Theater. On Wednesday, October 20th, check out alum Nanfu Wang's HBO documentary In the Same Breath. or check out MIT's Richard LeMarchand's seminar on video game production for the same day. Finally, on October 21st at the Ray Stark Theater, check out the Berlin Festival Darling, a cop movie, for an exclusive pre-screening.
Wow, that sounds like fun. And finally, if you're looking to involve yourself in the School of Visual Arts, there's a wonderful exhibit focusing on the work produced by various Los Angeles-based artists during the pandemic that's showing throughout the semester. Let's take a look.
Hey, what are you doing out here? You should come inside, into the USC Fisher Museum of Art. There's actually a new exhibit going on called Art and Hope at the End of the Tunnel. Let's talk more about it. Curated by renowned art critic Edward Goldman, the exhibit features dozens of artists who call the Los Angeles area home. The concept of the exhibition emerged out of the bleakness that was sparked by the initial stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. Goldman, who was still able to visit artists in their studios, asked the question, "How has this difficult time affected your art making?" To his delight, the artist responded that it had actually allowed them to spend more time in their studio, creating art that had more focus and deeper meaning, giving Edward hope that there is indeed light at the end of the tunnel. These wonderful portraits were taken by Ken Gonzalez-Day, and we were lucky enough to land an interview with him. I'll pass it to Sophia from here.
Hi, my name is Sophia Mandujano Moreo, and I'm a freshman here at USC. And so we went over to the Fisher Museum to check out the exhibit, Art and Hope in the Pandemic, to see some art, and your art really stuck out to us, the portraiture. And I was hoping that you could tell me a little bit about that process.
Sure. First, thank you for having me, and I'm glad you could go see the show. It's part of a project that started, of course, during the pandemic. As a visual artist, I basically wasn't able to make anything because I usually do a lot of research and travel and photograph objects in different museums. At some point, I wanted to start making work again. I also had been in lockdown, so I hadn't really seen anybody for a while. So I wanted to create a series of portraits of basically people from the arts community that were around and available, and I would invite them over. I told people that it's portraits of them during the pandemic and to sort of wear what they wanted to wear. They could change outfits if they wanted, they could do whatever. And just sort of a moment to, I guess, celebrate themselves and to think about their own practice and their process. And so that was how it began.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. I guess I'm wondering a little bit about, like, why did you feel compelled to make art about the pandemic and that experience?
Really, it was just about trying to connect, because I was teaching in Zoom for the, and had not really been in the room with anybody else for quite a while. So it was really about building community and maintaining community.
That's wonderful. Thank
Great.
you so much for talking with me, and I really enjoy particularly your art in the exhibit.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and make sure you check out all the future shows there because they have a great art program.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hi. Whew, that jump was big. All right, got a little out of breath. Anyway, thank you for stopping by the museum. I really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you again soon. You can visit during the week because it's open for free to the general public. You can visit it during the hours of 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, and 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Now back to you at the scoop.
That's fascinating. I never knew USC had a collection like that. But what I do know now is that we're lucky enough to have rising star filmmaker Felipe Vargas with us. How are you doing, Felipe?
Thank you for having me. How's it going, Jonathan?
I'm doing pretty well. So you're a pretty popular man on YouTube from what it looks like.
Not that, but relatively.
Right. So you have two shorts on YouTube now. You have Milk Teeth and The Guide.
That's right.
Right. Which one do you want to start with first?
I can talk about either. So they were both USC projects. So they were done here at the film school for different classes. And after I finished them, you have this little short film and you're like, what do I do with it? Send it to festivals, you get a lot of rejections. But at the end of the day, I put them on YouTube, just kind of seeing what will happen. And they really blew up, and they ended up getting a ton of viewership, which was exciting, and a ton of comments. Some mostly really positive. YouTubers are very honest, but mostly really positive, and it was great.
Right, and I think we actually have a clip of Milk Teeth, if you don't mind watching it for a second.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, let's check it out.
It's a nice brush, Thomas. Where'd you get the money for it?
It was a gift from friend.
You don't have any friends!
Children, leave him alone. I can give you all riches beyond your wildest dreams. Just send one of your teeth down the drain.
What? Give her a tooth. Give her a tooth.
What? How? Dude, are you serious? Now. Okay.
It's a very relatable experience. I know I've been in that situation a few times.
Of course, when the sink demon asks for a tooth, the worst.
Yeah. Now I gotta ask, was it like sort of like a inadvertent smoking ad? That's kind of what I got with like, I didn't have teeth, so I had to steal them from children, and now I can come back into society.
I like that analysis. I like that. No, it was kind of came from. I read a lot of like magical realist books growing up, and I've always loved things that blend fantasy and horror, very like Del Toro-esque, Tim Burton vibe. So it was great. And I feel like when you start to lose teeth as you're growing up, it's a very like visceral sort of coming of age experience. So we wanted to make a little horror film out of that. But I like the smoking version too. That's a good
Speaking
analysis.
of visceral, the opening where he's like almost sawing his tooth out with the floss. I mean, I looked at that and I was like, I had to make sure my door was closed. I didn't want somebody to walk by and be like, Jonathan, what are you watching? But it was so, the concept was so interesting. I had never seen something like that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and I actually worked with a writer who came up with the idea, and he really wanted that opening with the tooth, and it worked out great. I mean, we built like teeth prosthetics over the kids' teeth, and we had a little blood gag, so it was all done practically. Like a lot of my favorite films use a lot of practical effects, so it was fun. It was a really good time to do that.
And USC really helped you out with that?
Yeah, USC funds the film, so USC really couldn't have done it without them. Like the value that USC brings it way up. The stages, they have a great deal with SAG, which is the acting union, so you get to bring great actors for free. All the gear, it was great. They were amazing.
Awesome, and you had an overall pretty good experience at USC, you would say?
Yeah, USC is like an incredible film. It's the best film school, and like you get to meet so many incredible collaborators that you work with into the future. You get to make all these incredible projects. You know, I think it's a little bit what you make out of it. You got to really put in the extra effort, but it totally has paid off. USC it's great.
That's good. I was really worried about that answer because we are a bit of a propaganda network here. So if you started talking about UCLA or something, it could have gotten very concerning very quickly. I think they would have cut to an ad break.
Gotta support the Trojans.
Yeah, there you go. Fight on. But The Guide as well, really interesting short film with another concept that was very out there that I really liked.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was an earlier short, and it is a kind of fantasy guardian of angel. It's sort of this girl who is able to affect people through a television screen, and for example, she blows into the screen, and a gust of wind comes into the people inside the screen. So it was kind of a unique take on what a guardian angel might be, and it's a little bit of a fantasy element. I love things that have a twist of fantasy or horror, that sort of genre.
I kind of noticed that, with both of your short films. One was a little bit more sci-fi, and then one was a little bit more fantasy, you would say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. And you're working on an Amazon series right now?
Yeah, I just sold my first series to Amazon. They have basically a free streamer called IMDb TV.
Right.
So it's for IMDb TV, and we're doing it with Sony Television and with this amazing producer named Norman Lear, who is 99 years old. He has been making TV since the 70s and 60s. In the 70s, he had like the 5 biggest sitcom TV shows. So he's like a legend, and he's been a great mentor and sort of inspiration. So I'm very excited about that series.
Wow. And you won a DGA award for Milk Teeth, was it?
Yeah, for Milk Teeth. And it was kind of, it was amazing. It was a DGA Student Award, and they gave it out to a couple of different student films, and we won the Latin American Student Award because it was kind of inspired by like Latin American magical realist literature, and kind of had that take. A lot of the cast and crew was Latin American, which was exciting.
Right. And one more thing, you have a feature film as well that you're working on.
Yeah, it's my first feature. I'm super excited about it. That takes up most of my days, and it's I can't say much because it's unannounced, but it's this horror feature for a pretty major studio, which I'm really, really hyped about. And it has a lot in the vein of Milk Teeth. It's horror, it's told through kids' perspective. It has a little bit of crazy body gore, so get ready.
Awesome. So is horror kind of the genre you want to go in with an exploration of fantasy and sci-fi involved?
I love horror, I love sci-fi. I really want to do things that feel magical realist, that ground those sort of things, and are told through a genre lens. And a lot of them, hopefully, I want them to be Latin American stories. I feel like I was born in Colombia, I grew up there, and I really want to tell stories that portray Latin America in a way that hasn't been seen before. I feel like a lot of the stories there are immigration, drugs, whatever, but I think it's really interesting to see these stories told through the genre, through horror, through sci-fi. So I really want to push that.
Right, yeah. So how much of an inspiration has that been on the guide in Milk Teeth?
I think it's been a pretty big inspiration. Like, you'll read these books from like Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Jorge Borges, and I think they make reality feel very fantastical, and they make things that are really fantastical feel grounded and real and character-driven and emotional. So I've always loved that sort of combination and really want to bring that to movies and TV.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Vargas.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I'll shake your hand for a second time today.
This is exciting. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming. Well, Scoop fans, this episode has unfortunately come to an end, but we can't wait to see you next week. We will be right back here, same time, same place. So thanks again for watching, and this has been The Scoop on Trojan Vision.